So the patch 7.2.5 is going to be here probably nowhere near soon, but we are going to have a lot of rogue changes. And ever since I heard about this change, that they're changing the fantasy behind rogues, the playstyle, I have no idea just how much they are thinking of changing. There's a lot of things that could be done, which is why I made a list right here, and I want to kind of read it off to you guys and have an open discussion about some of the things that I think should be added to the game. Your guys' opinions will also be great. Again, this list, first of all, isn't about balancing. Everything in here is going to sound overpowered as hell, but it sounds cool as living hell. So that's what the point is, to make everything feel so much cooler. So let's begin. Assassination. I like the idea of bleeds versus poisons, and this is something they covered a little bit in the article when they talked about some of the class fantasy changes. What I honestly would want to see is an affliction warlock with daggers, and I've always wanted to be able to see that. So to see an assassination rogue geared and talented for damage over time, a lot of damage over time, that literally is majority of your damage through poisons and bleeds in a specific talent playstyle. All you do is apply dots, move on to another target, apply dots, move on to another target. Literally plays like an affliction warlock, but you're melee. I would love to see that. It'd either be an affliction warlock with daggers, or maybe someone like a powerful master of poisons that makes poison concoctions, different poison setups, different combinations of poisons, and then hits the enemy right in the nerve with it. I honestly think the Assassination Rogue tree should have 3 different rows of abilities, and thematically it should be 1 for poisons, 1 for bleeds, and maybe 1 in the middle for something physical, which is kind of like the middle ground. They could maybe make it something like assassination with poisons, more utility and single target, while bleeds are more about spread pressure and AoE, and physical could be like the middle ground. Kind of like the first talent row. You have Master Poisoner, Hemorrhage, and then you have the God, what is it called? Elaborate planning. Didn't even look it up. Didn't actually even have to look it up. Honestly, just believe me. So we have an ability where you're increasing the poison effect and damage, right? So utility of your secondary poisons and damage of your primary. The other one increases all bleed damage that you do to that one target. And the one middle basically allows you, as long as you keep using finishers, to have 12% damage increase. Used to be 15. I like that idea, because it opens you some opportunities. Also will allow rogues to have a lot of different playstyle aspects in terms of versatility. In terms of, like, let's say you're going for a heavy bleed style. I don't think you should feel punished for going a heavy bleed style. You might not have, you know, all the best talents for single target for certain fights. One of your talents might literally be an AoE, but it'd be cool to have like versatility for a lot of these talents. Have some capabilities for some AoE / single target capability. Versatility where you can have more than one build and just more than one playstyle. Outlaw. And this one is very simple. If they end the roll the bones mechanic altogether, not by removing it, but rather changing it to the point where it is worth less than a slice and dice, then I think they'll accomplish the goal, take away the RNG. I would love for Outlaw, thematically, to be even more piratey. I mean, they have a lot of pirate-based abilities, right? They have Riposte, which is cool, it's a parry. They have Grapple and Hook. They have Pistol Shot. They have Cannibal Barrage as a talent. But I would like to see even more piratey themed abilities. Just a bunch of pirate themes everywhere. Literally, just about every single ability should have a pirate theme to it of sorts. And that'd be kind of cool. Like Mark for Death. Well, Mark for Death is what every other class has. Pirated. But get some kind of a Blackbeard's mark. Oh, Blackbeard's descent. You surround yourself in smoke, and you have basically a smoke bomb, right? I don't even know, like literally Blackbeard capabilities, like Davy Jones' locker, like more piratey stuff. That'd be so goddamn cool. Just the themes of it. I don't even care if you make these talents literally useless, terrible, and they do absolutely nothing. More piratey stuff, and I think that'd be kind of, I just would enjoy it, because I feel like it'd be kind of cool to see Blizzard commit to this piratey playstyle. You know what I mean? I would also love to see a lot more pistol play in terms of talents, and maybe talents and abilities that has to do more with pistols, because it's a very unique mechanic. You have a class that has this pseudo range capabilities and a pistol. No other class has a ranged weapon unless Hunters, and Hunters that's the only weapon. You have a concealed pistol. What other concealed weapons could an Outlaw Rogue have? I also looked up on some forums and I had people suggest some of the other talents, like for example, a ranged pistol build. Let's say you take like a talent, like at the very end row, and it changes your playstyle altogether to a pistol ranged build. This sounds overpowered, and in most cases, if you do want to say play something like a ranged shooting class, you might as well play a hunter. So why would anyone want to play a dual wielding pirate themed rogue? And I think I just answered the question right there. Then we have Subtlety Rogues, and this one, I have no idea what I could add for this, but with Subtlety Rogues, it actually opens up a more broader topic. Some of the things that we're trying to talk about and trying to plan for is giving Subtlety capability of utility-based poisons. They are thinking of maybe making it more about eviscerates and bursty damage, and reduce the insane mobility they have, while keeping the damage more or less similar, and take away a lot of magical element from it, because I guess it kind of does make sense. And it really does make sense to take away a magical element out of Subtlety Rogues. I mean, rogues are supposed to be like warriors, but not quite. They're supposed to be like hunters, but also not that quite. They're agile, they're not really special or magical, they're not unicorns, but determined, clever, taking every advantage they can as often as possible. They are the brawlers, the outlaws, the thieves, agents, assassins, scoundrels, saboteurs. Those are the things that come with Rogue. So now we can kind of think about some of the broader things like Death Knights that have a lot of these capabilities, where a class basically has the same things you would see from spec to spec to spec, except it's only 2 specs to work with, so there's not as much of differences. For rogues, there's 3 specs in particular, but why don't they have things like utility poisons? You already carry a Crimson Vial, and every spec of rogue has a Crimson Vial, which is an alchemical mixture, and you drink it in order to give yourself health. But why can't you have other utility concoctions, like a poison concoction? Why can't an Outlaw rogue spread some poison on his weapon? Just poison. There we go. We have abilities like Smoke Bomb. But what if we had other bombs? I mean, it's not really exactly grenades like what survival hunters have. But what about like a good old-fashioned like cannonball bomb? Like you light the fuse and throw it, and explosion happens. Kind of like similar to what they would do for normally for smoke bombs. If Blizzard is going to be changing any parts for 7 to 5 for rogues, I do like the idea of making all the specs feel different, and I think they should feel different. Outlaw should be a pirate. Subtlety could be ninja-like class with ninja-like capabilities. Think like Shadowpan. Actually, yeah, Shadowpan. Like Pandaren, Subtlety Rogue, Shadowpan, Ninja Style, Shuriken Toss, what have you. And Assassination should be the old-fashioned dagger brawler. And I think that'd be kind of cool. Just in general, I like the fact that they have different diversity. I like the different abilities. But like mages, who are all able to blink while polymorphing the enemy, should all the rogues I feel like should have similar utilities for like PvE or PvP. But the playstyle itself should feel different. And the way it is right now, it just feels like there's completely different utilities than what each spec brings, which is cool. But I feel like it should be more about a feeling of like how it feels to play the spec, not exactly all about what do you bring to the table as much. I feel like what you bring to the table should be fairly similar, so then you can literally play whatever spec rogue you want to and bring basically whatever you want to the table, but it's all about changing slight things for what you bring to the table. So to wrap it up, I think rogue should be thematically different and visually different, but why not allow some similar abilities for utility, for PvP or PvE, to be similar in order to be viable and competitive no matter the spec of choice that the player chooses. And again, Frost and Holies are great examples, as they have a lot of similar abilities that allow them to do similar things, but the difference is in terms of how they deal damage and the playstyle and what they try to accomplish within PvE or PvP. But for the most part, both of them are fairly viable, and then it's only a question of how much does one class bounce from the other. And with rogues, I feel like we just have too much of diversity of like what do you bring to the table based on spec, but that's just me. Anyway guys, I think this is it that I have for you right now. This is just kind of like a pot shot full of ideas that I was able to come up just now. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and give this video a like if you liked it, and again, please participate if you are somebody who is a rogue player and who is looking towards these new changes. Again, would love to hear you guys' thoughts of what would you change, or what would you have rogues be in patch 7.2.5. Thanks guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video.